Hi, my name's Billy, and here's my shop status report for the week of September 16th, 2019. I did not put out a shop status report last week. It was my wife and I's anniversary, so no filming. So I'm back at it again this week, so let me get you caught up on what I did last week and then what I'm working on now. First thing is that I did put out a video on wiping varnish. So this is my finishing technique for most of my projects. So if you are interested in how to apply like a wipe-on poly, then you might want to go check out that video. I also put out a video just a couple days ago on some mail order lumber. So I know that's a popular thing now. A lot of people are starting to get into purchasing lumber online. And then there's some people who are a little bit worried about what's the quality of the wood that they're going to get if they've never done that sort of thing before. So I ordered 20 board feet of walnut from Belforce Products. I have no affiliation with Belforce whatsoever outside of just being a customer and paying for my own lumber. So once that wood arrived, I actually just decided, you know what, let me film opening up the box so that you can see when I see it what I received. So I was originally going to put this on Instagram, but the video ended up being a little bit too long for Instagram. So I said, hey, let's just put it on YouTube so everyone can see it. So you can check that out if you have questions about the mail order process. I've done it with a couple companies. That saves me a ton of time. I don't have to break away from my shop to go hunt for lumber. So if you have questions, you can hit me up in the comments section of this video and I will be happy to answer them for you. I am in the state of multiple projects, small and large. So let's knock out the small ones first. First thing is that I had to make a bunch of these hexagon candle holders again. These are made out of cherry. I treat these sort of like a palette cleanser, meaning that I don't generally make hexagons, and it takes me a different focus for me to cut hexagons up. So sometimes it's good for me to break away from what I'm doing, make something like this instead, and then whenever I go back to my old projects I was working on, I kind of have a clean slate. So I've got to box a bunch of these up and send these off to a customer. I've also had this itch to make something with brass. I've had that for a while, and I've done stuff with aluminum, but I hadn't worked with brass before. So I ordered a brass bar from McMaster Carr, and this is hefty. You can knock somebody out with this thing. It's 1/8 inch thick, and I wanted to incorporate this into something simple, just like a box or something like that, to start with, and then maybe expand from there. So I made two boxes, just a modern looking box, something simple. I made one out of cherry and one out of walnut. So here's the walnut one, and it just turned out absolutely gorgeous. I'm generally a silver person, not necessarily a gold person, so that's why I like to use aluminum. I could use my woodworking tools with that, and I just like the aesthetic of it. But this is some quarter sawn walnut. You can see the grain directions up and down. It has this really cool rainbow effect to it. And what I really love about this brass with it is the top has a tanned section here, and it just coordinates perfectly with it. This turned out fantastic, and I kind of want to keep it for myself. But I say that about a lot of things that I build. So I said I made this out of walnut, and I have one out of cherry. I also took a whole bunch of scrap maple I had sitting in the shop that I couldn't use for other things, and I made a craft project for our Brownie Truth. So this whole box here is just stacked blocks of various sizes. And what we plan on doing is the girls are going to glue and stack the pieces up, and it's going to form a pumpkin. And then they can paint it and decorate it and all that stuff. So just a really fun project for the girls to do. And it helps get some scrap wood out of my shop that otherwise would probably get thrown away or burned or something. So once they do it, I'm looking forward to snapping some pictures so that I can then post those online. I'll also post a video of making some of those things on my Instagram account, which is @genealogistwoodworker. So if you have a Brownie Truth or something like that and you're interested in making something similar, then maybe you can check out the video and you can see what we did to make those, and then you can make it for your troop. A couple other projects. One of them is a walnut box that I'm working on right now. This is built to the specification of a client. They wanted something with a modern look to it. So we're not doing like dovetails or anything. We're going to do simple rabbeted joints with that, but it's going to have hinges to it and then a locking mechanism of some type. So that's a fun project to do. I really like it whenever a customer could come to me and say, I want something that looks like this, or I want something that is this size. So that one's exciting to do. I hope to be able to wrap that up here soon. I still got to pick out the exact hardware. We're kind of going back and forth on which hardware to really use for it, but all intents and purposes, the box is all built the same. One project I'm super excited about doing is, I've got a bunch of lumber stacked up here. I am building a bread box charging station. This thing's gonna be big. We're talking 21 inches across, 14 inches tall. It's gonna sit on a kitchen counter, like under the upper cabinets. And it's gonna look like a modern feel of a bread box. So this client has a home that's older, it was built in the 1800s. So we're gonna build this bread box where it's gonna have dovetail joinery holding it together. So the dovetails coordinate really well with the kitchen, but at the same time, they like modern things. So we're gonna do some European modern hinges. These are nickel finished, and it's gonna allow me to do a front door of this box that drops down like a bread box would have. But it's going to have more of a modern look. So the front's going to have some metal in it that coordinates with these European hinges. We're going to have a shelf in it that pulls out, and then the client can have electronics charging on the shelf or on the bottom part. They can pull it out, easily get to their electronics, push it back in, and then flip the lid back up. So it will look like a modern version of a bread box, but then once you open it up, you'll see that it actually has electronics inside. So that's really cool to make. It's some woodworking techniques that I don't always get to employ in all of my projects, so I'm super excited about making that one. And I hope to finish it up this week. So that's it for the status of my shop this week. If you want to stay up to date on the latest happenings going on here in the shop, you can hit me up on Instagram at Genealogist Woodworker. Post a comment below on the status of your shop so we can follow along with your woodworking journey. And until we meet again, get in your shop this week and build something awesome.